welcome to another edition of Texas Local Live. I'm your host, Ben Martinek, and tonight we've got a special guest up here. We got Mr. Kyle Noonan on with us. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm well. It's super excited to be here.
Oh, man, we're so thrilled to have you up here. We're at the Ranch in Las Colinas, if you don't know already at this point. Tuning Texas every Monday we do, hosting the event with some artists. But it's a little different tonight because you're not necessarily playing music up here. But
nobody wants that. Nobody wants me to play, I promise.
No. Hey, man, I'm sure you can give us some little
My kids
skills
have heard it with me singing around the house, and they're like, Dad, you need to stick with your real job.
And the real job, though, does provide some solid music in this town here. Talking about a little bit of the Rustic, but you've got a little more background to it. And I like to start the shows out by asking artists normally, why music? What got you into this? But for you specifically, I'd like to ask why music in your group, I guess. So, like, what about it brought to your concepts?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think you don't have a soul if you don't like music. You know, and I remember back in the day when, I was 13 years old and rapping Biggie and Tupac and thought I was so cool, and, or in college and trying to invite girls back to my dorm room and playing Dave Matthews.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I remember those days where music played such an influence on my life and just kind of set the tone.
Yeah.
In fact, I've actually said this before, that if I had a superpower, we all talk about, like, would you fly? Would you see through walls or whatever?
Maybe.
My superpower would be to where when I walked into a room, the perfect song would play for me every time.
I like that.
And it would just kind of set the tone, just almost like a movie soundtrack for your life. And there was always like a song playing that set the tone.
Perfect mood, and everybody's in on it. Okay,
yeah, that would be my superpower.
That's a pretty solid superpower, I must say. Actually,
right?
that goes by the wayside. So now we got to think of a name. Maybe Stanley can get on that for us.
Sonic Wave or something. Who knows?
Sonic Wave. I like it, dude. Well, that's really cool, man. What you've done is just been incredible, and I mean, I'm sure we could talk your life story all day long, but as it pertains to music, we would definitely be interested in hearing you and your buddy Josh back in the day.
He was my college roommate.
Yeah, okay.
And we couldn't be more different as far as our personality makeup. He's the smart one, as I say frequently. He was the business major, the finance major. I was the art major in college.
Okay.
And so we're very polar opposite from a skill set standpoint, but when it comes to core beliefs, core values, we're in sync, and that's what's made our partnership work so well.
Yeah, very good. So you got the kind of creative side, the analytical side, the minds working together with that. That's awesome.
The yin-yang.
Yes, sir. That's great, man.
Cookies and cream, whatever you want to
whatever you want to say. And you were local guys, too, SMU area, right?
Yeah, we both graduated from SMU. We're not from Dallas, but I think the saying goes, you got here as quick as you could.
Sure, yeah.
We love being in Texas. In fact, I moved back to Texas to start my company. I was in Chicago at the time.
Okay.
And when it was time for us to start our company, I was like, no, I'm moving to Texas.
So is that where you're from, Chicago originally?
No, but I lived there for 8 years in a past life doing another job in the restaurant industry. And had a great life, loved Chicago, but I miss Texas. And even though I'm not from here, there was a calling to come back here, and I was excited to be back. Yeah,
you wanted to be back in this area.
Certainly.
So the y'all's first concept y'all had, I'd like to hear your perspective. I've read about it a little bit and how y'all came up with it and all, but tell us a little bit about the bowls, man. I'd like to hear.
Yeah, Bowl and Barrel was our first, and when we started out, we always knew, Josh and I knew we wanted to do something together.
Yeah.
Because we knew our skill sets matched. We didn't know what. And one day Josh called me, and this is kind of like all of our ideas. They just kind of materialized out of something that we wanted to do and felt there wasn't a need for it. So he called me one day and was like, hey, dude, do you want to go bowling? And I was like, I guess. I haven't done that since I was like 4.
Right.
Where do we go? And he goes, well, actually, I don't know where to go. And so that was the thing that just clicked in us that said, okay, wait a minute. This is maybe something that we got to check out. And we immediately hired a consultant firm to research and help us understand and learn about the bowling industry. We started that. It did really well for us. We opened a few other concepts that year that, fortunately for us, did well as well, in addition to Bowl and Barrel. And the last concept we opened that first year was the Rustic, which is a concert venue. It's a restaurant and bar, first and foremost. but has the capacity and the ability and the sound system and the setup to do a 2,500 person concert.
Easy, yeah. And you've done some amazing ones.
Yeah.
Claiborne's over here. Claiborne's a super fan, so we like to always hash music.
Right on,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Which one's your favorite? William Clark Green's bad. Yeah, he's a bad man.
He was awesome. We got to meet him out there, actually. That was an awesome time.
That's awesome. He does it right.
He does, man. You guys do it right, actually. So that's the beauty of it all, man. We dig what you do for artists, too. And that's kind of, I mean, your place is like, man, artists want to get there, man. Artists we have on here, they're like, man, this is the spot we want to be in. This is an idol.
That is the coolest thing that's happened to me that I wasn't expecting. Okay, so much of the stuff, and I didn't expect and anticipate everything. You never do, right? But the one thing that was probably the biggest, I call them a happy accident. Like, it happened and I didn't expect it, but it ended up being way better than even I thought it would be, was the excitement of bands that get on the stage at the Rustic on a Friday night or a Saturday night, and they're nervous.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, oh, shit, can I cuss on this show?
Yeah, we're on the internet. Yeah, sure.
They're like, oh shit, we're playing in front of 1,500 people.
Yeah.
You know, we've never done that before.
Yeah, exactly.
And to see artists go, wait, this is a big stage for us.
Yeah.
This is a big break, and I didn't anticipate being a part of the music industry in that capacity, where artists were really excited and felt like, man, this is a big opportunity for us.
That's really cool, man. That's so cool you say that, too, because I can imagine how many times that happens. Again, the artists we have here, we're kind of in that middle tier. You know, if you get into the point where you're playing the Rustic regularly, that's your William Clark. You're on the road, you're gone, you're out of our hands. But we will hopefully like nourish artists to that point, and man, that's really cool to hear. And hopefully, if you're watching this now and you're taking notes on that's going to be an opportunity where, you know, whenever you get that point.
It is cool. And then it's also the surprises, too. So when you have, like, Chris Stapleton playing on the Rustic, and then a week later he's on stage with Justin Timberlake at the CMT Music Awards and just dominates the stage and it blows up. And you're kind of like, I knew that guy would win.
Yeah, I remember we were having a beer with him. He was back over here. Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's a very cool world.
It's a cool subculture to be involved in that. Man, you're on the launch pad and you're seeing these up-and-coming artists that are about to take off, and it's really cool to be a part of.
And artists talk about that, too, on the road, I'm sure, as you can imagine, you know, touring around, especially in Texas, you guys are kind of starting to, you know, spread out more and more of the beers and dabble in there, and which we can get into a little more later, whatever you want to tell us. But yeah, it's just cool to see, and it's really cool to artist personalities. So, you know, hats off to that, obviously, what you guys have done. But it's just the culture behind that venue and to what it's done on the road to, I'll call it the road, but to that scene is just really cool, man. So
yeah, and you don't know which, you know, does the music set the tone for the culture?
Yeah.
Or do we, or what, you know, chicken before the egg? I don't know.
Though, man. Yeah, hand in hand. And what good segue though to my next point about your restaurant, because you guys. I heard about your hospitality right first, like that's your thing, and I'd like to hear your take on that with the Rustic specifically, and how that came about.
Sure. So everything we've done, we've approached from a restaurateur standpoint first. I came from the restaurant world. I did that for 13 years, and that's what I know. I believe in the food, the service, the drinks, the quality atmosphere. Yeah. I believe in those things, and when we set out to create our company, we said, we want to be a restaurant company that has a unique form of active entertainment in addition to it. So not just a restaurant, but a restaurant with something, right? Yeah. So a restaurant with bowling, or a restaurant with music, or a restaurant with dog park, or whatever it might be. Which is a really cool concept too, by the way. But the hardest thing to execute is the food and service and hospitality component. And we felt like if we could do that well, then that's going to be a huge competitive advantage for us in the industry, in the entertainment industry, because most people, the food and service component is the afterthought. They serve food because they have to.
Yeah,
you're
there, you're hungry.
But it's not what they lead with, right? And there's a reason why you come into the Rustic on a Wednesday lunch and we're on a 30-minute wait. But you look at, not to bang on them because they do a great job for what they are, but you look at like a House of Blues, unless there's a concert, they're empty, right? Because it's a music venue with a restaurant or with food versus a a restaurant with music.
Yeah.
And that was our approach fundamentally from day one, because we just believed that we could out-execute most operations.
Yeah, starting with that as your forefront.
Yeah.
That's cool, and you're nail on the head, man. That's really cool. It's exactly what people want. I think it is what people want, especially, I keep going back to Rustic, but that's just, to the standpoint of where we're coming from here with this, but it's it fits perfect with it.
Well,
man.
and it's funny to be here at the ranch. So the guy that started the ranch was my mentor, oddly enough.
That's crazy.
We both worked for another company together, and he was the guy that hired me into the business right out of college.
That's cool.
And so it's funny to come full circle and be back here.
Dude, that's wild. Yeah, we're glad to have you up on the stage.
Yeah,
this is great,
kind of fun.
This is really cool. Small world after all, everybody.
It is.
Yes, it is. That is awesome. So moving through music, we'll come back around with that, and I'd like to hear future endeavors, whatever you're willing to let us know about. But foodie, are you a foodie? And what's your jam, man? I gotta hear what you like to get
this
into.
This is the problem with my industry. Is I when I started, I was like 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And now I'm like 200,000 pounds.
Yeah, moving on.
I love to eat. It's I feel like there's such a connection to food and camaraderie.
Yeah,
and,
man.
There's a reason why the saying "break bread with somebody" is. I mean, it's a real thing. Like when you sit down and share a meal with somebody, that bond is really special and really cool. And so I love to eat. I love all kinds of food. I love to drink too. I am a sommelier, so I love wine, but I also like tequila.
Yeah,
tequila is kind of my
your
go-to.
thing? Yeah. Okay.
So food is just such a central part of my life and my kids' lives, and I've kind of raised little monsters because my son. He loves sushi like nobody's business, and goes in and wants to order the most expensive sushi that he can find.
Yeah, because he knows what's going on.
He knows what's up, and so I'm having to open restaurants to feed my kids basically at this point.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So now that's the way to get the restaurant we were trying to go to. Talk to your son. Hey, look, I think we need to think about a burger spot or something else. We need a good sushi joint over here.
Yeah,
that's great, man. That's
and
good.
It's actually abundantly hard to talk about food right now because I'm 3 weeks into the keto diet thing.
Okay, all right.
And
dude,
man.
I'm sorry, because I was just about to ask, what's your favorite thing? What do you go after?
I'm about to eat this microphone.
Okay, yeah. Okay? This is keto preferred. I think it's on there. It's a gluten-free. Yeah. That's awesome, man. So then I'll quit talking about food because I'm a foodie man myself. I definitely love food. I've traveled. I've been to some pretty awesome restaurants around the world too. And
if you had to, I've been asked this question before. If you had to commit to one cuisine and only one cuisine for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Italian.
Italian's a good go-to.
Yeah.
Mine would be Mexican probably first, only for the standpoint of I like Mexican breakfast.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's tough for me because I'm a breakfast guy, and the Italian breakfast.
And otherwise it'd be Asian for me.
Yeah,
but I don't really want sushi for breakfast.
No, not necessarily. Yeah,
so,
I don't want cold cuts. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna change because I'm from Texas. I'm from Texas my whole life. So
yeah, 100%.
Tex-Mex, dude, all day long. I'm down with all that kind of stuff. So
some chips and queso all day long.
Yes, exactly. So I'd like to. I'm sure you've seen artists over the years, right? Mm-hmm. You and Mr. Green had come together with the Rustic, right?
Yeah.
You and Pat Green got some stuff going, and that came to fruition. I'd kind of like your insight on maybe some things you would mention to some artists that are looking to get to that level. And then when I say that level, I mean getting up there and being prepared on that kind of stage. You've been there in the back, backstage of it, and you've seen, like you said, that moment of the happiness or whatever you were mentioning earlier about that, how you can see someone like, wow, this is a big show now. What are some things you might just kind of say to those artists that are out there?
I would say that the artists that really come to the Rustic stage and that go on to be monsters in the industry, a Chris Stapleton, a Leon Bridges, people like that are like hustling and grinding and then all of a sudden blow up. The thing that they all share outside of hard work and talent, which is a given, you got to hustle and you got to be good, they have an ability to be authentic. They're not trying to be the next somebody.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I got you exactly.
I'm not if I'm an artist, I'm not trying to be the next
Whoever,
Pat Green.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and be the best me.
Yes.
And they create their own brand, and the people that buy in and 100% go hard on who they are, those are the artists that really, I think,
make it to that next level.
Take it to assuming they're good enough and assuming they're disciplined.
Right. Yeah.
I can also, on the flip side, I can tell you a clear sign of somebody that is not going to do well.
Okay. Yeah.
It's that artist that has ego.
Yeah.
Not confidence.
Yes.
Confidence
big difference.
is cool.
Yeah.
I'm talking ego.
Yep.
Ego to me is like a cloak for insecurity.
Yeah.
And those artists that have that ego, and the artists that really, frankly, aren't hustling and aren't willing to grind, and I think that probably comes down to gratitude and humility a little bit. Like, you know, man, if you're willing to just bust your butt, work hard, not take anything for granted, be grateful for every opportunity, and take advantage of those opportunities, those are the guys that win.
Yeah.
And girls that win. The ones that have ego and are like, you know, you're lucky to have me.
Yeah, yeah.
And you see them fizzle out. But it's fascinating how many more people are in that second camp of ego and ungratefulness.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I'm a musician. I got to act like a famous musician, right?
Or they're talented. They are talented.
Or they're talented,
and they're taking that as I deserve
yeah, that's
this.
a great point.
Yeah.
But it's funny how there's more people in that camp than there are in the truly talented, but are just still willing to hustle and grind and be grateful and take advantage of every opportunity. And those are the artists that do well.
Yeah.
I mean, you meet a guy like a Leon Bridges, who's a great local hometown guy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable talent, but you meet him and he's as humble as could be even today.
Yeah.
I
mean, wouldn't even think. Yeah.
You know, and he's grateful and he's gracious to everybody he meets, and it's fascinating to see that. And that's the common
really
thread
cool.
I see.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's a huge note to take, man. And
so and I think that applies to business owners too. Like, I mean, it's very easy to start believing your own hype. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
But that's what's a distraction ultimately.
Yeah. It infects your head for sure.
Yeah.
You get stuck in this mind of you think
1,000%.
You are God's gift to earth and whatever it is, and it's not the case, man.
Yep.
Not at all. Usually not the case. But, that's a good point, man. That's interesting to hear. Take note, children. Take note.
Be humble.
Get out
be
there,
grateful.
be humble, and grind.
Hustle.
We say it every week. We got to be somewhere, or always be somewhere. I think it was what it was. One of our guests said, and that's just such a great thing. Be somewhere as a musician, but bring that humbleness to it. So.
That's very good. And the sincerity, the authenticity.
Authenticity.
I'm telling you, if you're authentic and you're willing to be who you are and be that version, that's where it's at. Yeah, I really believe it.
That's awesome. So finally, wrapping up a little bit here, I'd like to kind of get an insight on what's coming up this year for the group and for you guys, and what you have come down the pipeline for both restaurants and music too. If there's something else coming up.
You know, we have a couple restaurants opening this year. We have our dog park Mutts, which is really cool if you're not familiar with it. We're opening our second location in Fort Worth.
Oh, cool.
At the Edwards Clear Fork Ranch.
Yeah.
Clear Fork Development. We open that in 3 weeks, and then in 5 weeks we open a big, bad Houston downtown Rustic.
Yeah.
With a retractable roof over it. It's going to hold about 4,000 people.
Oh, man.
It's going to be a monster, so we're excited about that. We've already got some big shows lined up.
That's crazy. 4 months is open?
No, 5 weeks.
5
weeks.
Oh,
we're coming.
Lord. Hello.
And some Texas icons coming.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. You know, and that'll put us in a really interesting position because we'll have Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston at that point. And now we can start getting a Texas circuit, which is really a game changer for us.
And what is the San Antonio location? Size comparison to Dallas?
It's actually a little bit bigger on the inside, a little smaller on the outside, but total square footage, it's about the same.
Similar, okay.
Yeah, a little over 2,000 people.
Yeah, okay.
For concerts, and then about 650 people just for dinner.
Yeah.
And it's been open. We celebrate our year anniversary this month.
Yeah, very cool.
And it's been doing just as well as Dallas has done.
That's awesome.
And Dallas, we're going on our 6 years.
6 years,
so we're excited.
yeah, man. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cheers to that, too, by the way. Your success has been great, man. We're so happy that you're here doing this. Yeah, we got a drink after the cheers.
Indeed.
I think it's bad luck if you don't,
yeah,
right?
It is. We can't afford bad luck.
Let's not do that at all. No. But yeah, man, it's just been a crazy story for you guys, and you and Josh both. And I'm sure, obviously, it's grown. The team's grown since that day about bowling.
We've topped 1,000 employees this month.
Awesome, man. That's so cool. That's so great.
So that's pretty exciting. That was a big milestone for us.
Yeah, that's a giant milestone. Are y'all? And I have to ask this just because we're in Texas and the music scene makes me ask. But are you circling in on Austin? I mean, is that like something you built the triangle around it now? So like, are y'all?
Listen, I love Austin.
Yeah.
And the long answer is yes, or the short answer is yes. The long answer really is we want to be in Austin, but we want to find that castle on the hill kind of thing, that perfect location, because frankly, Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston don't have the music scenes that Austin does, right?
Yeah.
And so we know that we have to, if we're going to go in there, and especially being a Dallas brand. Yeah. You know, people in Austin are going to be a little bit like, I don't know. So you have to really go in and do it right. And we want to be in Austin. We will be in Austin. We don't have a location yet. We have a few locations that we've kind of circled on the map, but nothing concrete yet.
You definitely do your due diligence with the locations. I will say that for sure, obviously.
We're willing to be patient.
I mean, you should. You guys have no reason to rush it.
They're just such big investments that we don't want to rush into things, and we want to do it right, and we want to be able to grow at a good pace. You want to be,
receptive by the people. I mean, you got to have that too. So
100%.
Exactly. Well, Kyle, we really appreciate you chatting with us, man. We're gonna have some good music coming up. Hopefully, you can stick around here a little bit.
I'll be
and
eating right over there.
Enjoy the food here at the ranch here, and we just dig you coming out, man. Really appreciate it.
Hey, pleasure was mine. I promise.
Oh, awesome, man. Thank you so much
for
coming out. See you all again. Music coming up here at 7 o'clock. If you're watching live, get out here, y'all.